We're going live a little bit earlier today because um, I've just seen the news come out about the TNA lawsuit. Um, I did used to think it was just rumours. I didn't quite believe it myself until I've actually seen what I've seen today, where we saw the video of court with the lawyer representing Billy Corgan and then the lawyer of TNA. Basically, Corgan trying to do manoeuvres to get ownership of TNA. But in the court, he lost. He didn't win this battle. Dixie's already said that the loans that he made to TNA will be paid off by the 1st of November. But what's interesting to me is what's just come out of the Fight Network. Now, who owns the Fight Network is a company called AMP. They're the parent company of the Fight Network. And they've confirmed that recently made working capital loan to fund, hang on, where is it right here, to fund the operations of TNA Impact Wrestling. Fight Network is a licensee of TNA programming for broadcasting in the US, Canada and other international markets, and is also the exclusive licensee of TNA for streaming internet delivery TV. Fight Network has offered to provide TNA Impact Wrestling with funds to repay the loans made by Billy Corgan and is in position to provide additional transition to the company. TNA is a strong property for for the Fight Network. As a licensee and a global distributor partner, we have a keen interest in seeing the company not only survive but continue to grow, thrive alongside our other growth. We are hopeful that the company can get back to doing what it does best, and which is providing great wrestling. So from that, obviously we can clearly tell that they want to fund TNA. They want to keep TNA going. Now, TNA have got a lot of problems. They've got a lot of debt and it's, to me, it looks like the Fight Network have got a very, very keen interest in TNA. Now, what we can take from this is that it looks like the Fight Network want to provide funding for TNA and everything else. But if they're providing that funding, what are they getting in return? Now, I've been thinking, for the Fight Network to be doing this, there must be a sort of agreement or a conversation they've had with Dixie where they want to become shareholders, because it would only make sense for them to put this money in. You can't just flog money at something and not get nothing in return. So what I feel and think might happen, we could actually see the AMP actually buy shares in TNA, which could be a good thing. The reason it could be a good thing, if they decide to buy into TNA, they've got global distribution, they can put the show on. It will save TNA money as well. Having a license, distributor, licensee, holding ownership. But it still doesn't resolve the root of the problem. We've heard from Vince Russo himself saying about the problems in TNA. A lot of people have said about the problems in TNA and all pointed the finger at Dixie. Now, I was having a conversation about this with someone I know on Xbox One was playing. I can't remember what GTA or something. And we was actually talking about the lawsuit, and we both were saying the way forward for TNA, and there's only one real solution. Now, if you look at TNA's history, and you look at who's been in control of creative and everything else, and I know people are going to go, oh no, he's useless. Just listen. When TNA was at their highest rating and at their best was when Vince Russo was running the ship. If you don't believe me, go and look it up for yourself. Go and look at the history. Go and look at the moments. Go and look at the dates. Vince Russo, when he was running TNA, TNA was at his best. The X Division was on point and everything else. Because Jeff Jarrett might have been in the back room as part owner with Dixie, but it was Russo that was doing the stories, the angles, and everything else. You know, Russo was going to take over and run TNA. You know, he was moving to Nashville and everything else, but then there was pay problems where his money didn't go up. He didn't get the promises that Dixie made to him about his money going up and everything, and he quit. He left. So, for me, and you've got to think about also the bad rep TNA I've got now, of who will actually come in and help. The only person they could use would be Russo. And this is the only way it would work. The Fight Network buy a high share into TNA. And for Russo to come in, the Fight Network have got to say to Dixie and got to go, look, we'll help, but you need to leave the wrestling alone. They need to say, look, run the business, run advertisements, run merchandise, run everything business side at Nashville. Let Russo and so the network, we'll work with Russo. We'll talk to Russo. As a Fight Network, we've got, they've got experience with, they're called Fight Network for God's sake. Fight Network say, look, we'll work with Russo. Us and Russo will run the wrestling. Just make sure the funds are available for bringing in talent and everything else, and let them run TNA. Because I'm telling you now, if that happened, TNA would be back to its heyday. Now, when I say back to its heyday, it's not going to be like that, because they have to rebuild, redesign, and refocus. They've got to give TNA the identity back. They've got to fix the weak holes. They've got to resort the pay-per-views, because they can't keep going with where they're going. Because let's think of their income. Okay? A wrestling company's main income, and I know this from a couple of wrestlers I've talked to and everything else, the main income for a company, merchandise, ticket sales, advertising, sponsors, I forgot the other one, live events. TNA's not doing that, but live events and monthly pay-per-views. By them doing the odd pay-per-view here and now means they've got less of an income. They're not doing live events, so there's no income on the live events. Their merchandise, to be honest, has been lacking. It's only recently they've started to put new stock on, like with the obsolete thing, and because they did actually try and have their t-shirts done by a different website and took it away from the TNA shop, which was very disappointing. You own TNA shop, you need to have the best merchandise on that shop. You need to make it that good that fans want to buy. You've got to have a character that the fans believe in and want that person's merchandise. They need to fix the key factors of income. Get those key factors worked on. Get better writers. Because Matt Hardy stuff, brilliant. Decay, brilliant. Everything else, hit and miss. So there's a lot that they need to work on. And I'm not saying this as a TNA hater or WWE mark. I'm just saying this as a pure wrestling fan and knows a bit about the business. You know, it's hard for me because I've watched TNA from the start. I've seen the growth of TNA and I'm seeing the decline of TNA. Because for me, the decline started when Hogan and Bischoff came in. Because even Russo said it himself. He said they came in, they ripped the script and said, right, we're going this direction. And what did it bring us? Immortal and all that crap. We lost loads of wrestlers down the line. It just went to crap. You know, just before Hogan come in, TNA was on the best high it could have been. If she didn't bring Hogan and Bischoff on, TNA would have still been climbing. You know, TNA was even mentioned on the WWE when it was at its high point. But bringing Hogan in and Bischoff did the damage. Did a lot of damage. And then after they were gone, finances was low. TNA didn't have a clue what it was doing. They, try not to swear, but they messed up big time after losing Spike. You know, the American, I can't even remember what it was called, didn't help him in any shape or form. They come to Pop TV. They've sort of got momentum, but it's still a bit lackluster. There's a lot of work that needs to be done into TNA. You know, they've got some storylines that could go brilliantly, and then they've got some right crap ones. You know, another point I'm going to make, they've signed, when they signed Aaron Rex, and they said, best sign. No, it's not. Your best, when TNA does a good signing, it's been Christian Cage, Kurt Angle, Sting, and then Aaron Rex. It's not going to cut it. This is what they need to get a better income, someone better at storytelling. Christ, Jeremy Borash is the one that's working with Matt Hardy on this Broken Hardys. Why isn't Jeremy Borash going, do you know what? We're going to put you in creative. There's a lot of ways TNA can be saved and can be fixed, but Dixie Carter has to let go of control of Impact Wrestling. She's got to let control go. She's got to put someone else running it. You know, one person I would say to give control of the wrestling side would be Paul Heyman, but, you know, he's contracted to WWE, can't get him. Eric Bischoff, no. Avoid. Russo, yeah. He's got experience with TNA. He built TNA up well. So, for me, it's got to be Russo. Maybe, because to be honest, Global Force Wrestling's not doing much. Maybe bring Jarrett in. Maybe put Jarrett and Russo as a package running Impact. And say to them, look, I'll let you run it. I'll do Nashville. It's the only way I can see for TNA to succeed and go in the right direction. At the minute, we don't know what could happen with it. She has admitted that there has been talks with WWE, but it looks like from her standpoint, she's I'm not going to sell to WWE. I'll talk to them, but I'm not going to sell. But from what I've seen so far, it looks more likely that the Fight Network will have control within TNA. I think that's probably the best outcome. I don't trust Billy Corgan. The reason I say that is the Broken Brilliance, we know that was Borash's idea. That was all Borash. And Matt. What has Corgan brought to the plate? He might have put money in, but we don't know what he's done creatively. And if Borash has done the Broken side, then if he's done Decay, then that's not really much you've put into TNA. So, and he already said he wanted to take control and rebrand. No. TNA is TNA. If you wanted to rebrand TNA, go and start your own company up and call it whatever name you want. Do not change TNA. And see, I even call it TNA, not Impact Wrestling. It should be TNA. It should have always been stayed as TNA Impact or TNA Impact Wrestling, not Impact Wrestling. They need to, that's another thing they need to sort. But this was meant to be more of a review of the show I've just watched, but I've had to get this out. I want to know your views on the current situation with TNA. So we're going to do, what we're going to do is we want to know who you think should own TNA, who should be running creative, or what would you do to fix TNA? And I don't want you smart, I'll just let it die. No, I want proper people. I want you to put, if you had control, what would you do to fix this company? You can either comment on this video, or you can tweet us at SlamdownPC and tweet us your thoughts and ideas on what TNA can do. Now, let's get into Impact Wrestling. Now, I'm not too sure on the Aaron Rex gimmick. I'm not too sure on it. It just feels a bit flat at the minute. It seems a bit rushed, and I don't understand why they put him in a single match with just Jesse Goddard. I don't understand that thought whatsoever. It was an alright match. It was a tag team match anyway. It was, God. Do you know it was that bad? I didn't even really pay much attention to it. Who was he tagging with? It was Aaron Rex and Eli Drake against EC3 and Jesse Goddard. Now, I like Eli Drake. I think he's a brilliant character. And this is what TNA need more of. Good characters with good storylines. Eli Drake, the way they're doing him, keep doing it, what they're doing, brilliant. Aaron Rex, I don't know. I don't think... He's one of the guys, if they said to me, who would you release? It'd be him. He's an okay mic talker, but he's not great on the wrestling ability. I think he's hurting TNA. If you disagree, don't forget, post in the comments. We saw the Halloween treats from the Hardys, which was quite funny. We saw Hurricane Helms as well when he knocked on the door. There's not really that much to run through. We saw Alice versus Laura Van Ness. Okay match, same again. I don't like the Ali gimmick. We all know her as Cherry Bomb, and we think, I feel she should be playing as Cherry Bomb. I'd like to see her snap and fight back. Stop making her look like a weak person, because she's a good wrestler. Start using that. We saw, was it Cody Rhodes and his wife taking on The Miracle and his wife. Good match. Actually, it was a really good match. I got really into that. I couldn't take my eyes off it. I'm still worried about Cody being a short-term thing, because I'm hoping he's not, because he's a good worker and they could do a lot with him. That's what I'd release Aaron Rex and keep Cody. Definitely keep Cody, because especially with his heritage, but you've got his wife there, there's different storylines you could go with him. I'm trying to think else what other matchups there were. Oh, the best part was when I was trying to remember. Maria, is it Marie Kanellis? Was aiming to kick Cody in the lower region, but caught her husband instead. And then she got tripped up and headbutted him in that area, which was slightly blotched, but still funny either way. What other matches did we have? Just remembered it. The bromance. Robbie, we saw Grado come in the ring, come on stage and said, "It's Halloween, I want to dress up, blah, blah, blah." Called Robbie out, said, "I want to be a bro man." So he went back and came back out, had like Brian stuff painted here. Looked like someone just shit on his face, just shit here. Put the glasses on, had the little trunks, and pulled glasses out of his bottoms and put them on Robbie E. Oh my God. But it was good. The way it was done, it was funny. And it's what Grado is good at. It's the slight comedy. You know, keep Grado with the comedy. You know, that's how everybody's known Grado, and that's how he's portrayed in the UK. You know, he's portrayed as someone that everybody puts down, but he has that lion heart. He always fights back. You know, in ICW, he's been in brutal matches and got victories because he doesn't give up, because he's that passionate. I would love to see a bit more of that passion side in him. I like the comedy, but not go overkill with it. They got attacked by Doc, which is the stable of the three masked men, which in a way to me is a lot like sort of the Anonymous gimmick, where you don't hear their voices. It's the video, they're sitting around the table, say about destruction and all this. It's very similar lines, and I quite like that. I know people are comparing it, it's similar to Aces and Eights. Aces and Eights was a biker gang. This is like an internet culture thing, you know, totally different things. But the way they've been done and the Aces H's first started, there are similarities, but for me, they were quite different. I think that's about it for TNA talk. I can't think much more than that. But we will update you with what's going on with TNA. If we find out if they're doing more tapings, any more with the lawsuits. But I'm definitely hoping that TNA still keeps going and they find a way of changing TNA and bringing TNA to what it used to be. But we will be back in, I'm going to say, less than half an hour with Hell in the Cell talking about everything about Hell in the Cell. But for now, it's been everything TNA, and we'll see you again later.